Our story starts so far away, hundreds of years ago, with an awfully greedy man who you will come to know. His name was Haroon, and he was one of Prophet Musa's kin. He wished to become richer than anyone's ever been. Though he had tried all he could think of from quite some time before, his efforts hadn't been enough, and he wanted to do more. Then he had an idea that he thought was truly brilliant: to ask for help from Musa, one of Allah's favorite servants. Haroon was certain that Prophet Musa's prayers would be answered. He begged Musa to pray for him so that his wish is granted. So the Prophet prayed for Haroon, and his wish came true at last. He could now have all that money could buy, and he was having a blast. Now that Haroon had finally become richer than ever, he started to buy more land, and he hired many workers. With their hard work with little pay, Haroon made quite a living. There was only one thing he lacked now, and that one thing was giving. For now that he was rich, he had become as stingy as can be. He said, "If the poor want to have more, they should just work like me." When Prophet Musa reminded him to do his share of charity, Haroon responded, "I won't give away my hard-earned money." And so, the more money he got, he became prouder and prouder. He was no longer humble to anyone, even to Allah, his creator. One night, tucked in his comfy bed, the wealthy Haroon dreaming that he was taking a stroll on an elephant's back while proud and beaming. The people who would bow to him, he would shower with gold. And if not, his elephant would crush them, be they young or old. He woke up at night from the dream. From much tossing and turning, he couldn't wait till morning to tell his dream interpreters what he had seen. Now, Haroon was no expert himself, but he felt he knew best. He said his dream must mean that he was above all the rest. The dream experts wanted to flatter him and said, "Your Majesty, we know, but most people are ignorant, so for them, you should put on a show." His advisor then stepped forward and said, "Your Majesty can hold a feast, the like of which has never been heard of. From the west to the east, people should see your riches and know that your status is higher, and then it won't be Musa or anyone but you who they'll admire." The proud Haroon grinned and said, "I knew this idea of mine was great. I command you all to arrange for me a celebration before it is late." So tailors, cooks, and blacksmiths were ordered to work day and night to prepare a feast worthy of the rich Haroon's status and might. Soon from town to town, the news of the upcoming event spread. "Haroon will hold the fanciest feast ever," is what was being said. People who were poor themselves would enviously tell each other stories of foods and clothes and jewels they'd seen prepared to show off Haroon's glory. Everyone seemed excited, except Prophet Musa's followers. They worried that the acts of Haroon would have too much power. "What if," they said, "the people will think Allah's happy with Haroon's deeds? What if," they asked, "the people will think that money's all they need? What if," they said, "the people will stop obeying Allah's commands, or maybe only worldly riches from you they'll demand?" "Calm down," said the Prophet to his worried followers with a smile. "Haroon's riches and power can really only last a while. Yes, his fame and fortune has made people envious indeed, but worldly possessions alone cannot make him succeed, as fame and fortune in this world is nothing but a test, and Haroon spending all his wealth for nothing but waste.
He'll only be blessed if he changes his ways, and by Allah's rules he abides. I can't help guide him otherwise. It's he who will decide.
Now, before the people knew it, Haroon's celebration day was here. Nearly everyone rushed to join in, from far and from near. And those who saw even a glimpse of it, they all agreed that this celebration was the most majestic one ever indeed. Haroon's rides were simply glorious, and the food was plenty and scrumptious. It was just the perfect event to make everyone envious. They saw that of worldly riches, Haroon had the biggest share. So what if he didn't obey Allah? The people didn't really care, for Haroon seemed successful despite all excess and waste. Many wished to live like him once, and of his life have a taste. But the poor didn't even get to have a taste of the food, for when they tried to join in, away they were shooed. Afterwards, Haroon refused to give the extras to those in need. He had the food burnt and said it's not his job, but Allah's job to feed. For days after, Haroon's party remained the talk of the town. People would speak of his fancy feast from sunup to sundown. But Haroon started to feel jealous of Musa again not so long after, for he saw how around the prophet many continued to gather. To disperse people, Haroon started joining the crowd, and when Musa started to speak, he would shout out loud,
We have no use for what you preach, and we don't need your piety. We won't give our money away like you tell us for charity. Oh, if your God owns everything, our money he shouldn't need.
And some of the people who heard him, well, they also agreed. They didn't try to find answers, and soon they were filled with doubt. Little by little in their hearts, the light of faith started to go out. Prophet Musa was sad to see them faithless and in pain. Yet he didn't give up. He preached and preached again. The prophet told the Israelites of Allah's mercy and his might. He asked Allah to help them all choose the path that is right. But more and more, it was of no use. It was like they were blind. They weren't searching for the truth, so the truth they couldn't find. So Prophet Musa complained to Allah Almighty.
I can't do any more. These people don't follow your orders, and they don't help the poor. Praise be to you, the merciful. Praise be to you, the just. Please help me guide your people, as you've told me that I must.
The very next day, when the sun's golden rays hit the ground, part of the land started shaking and making a horrifying sound. Right where Haroon's palace was built, the ground started to crack, then opened and gobbled up Haroon and all he owned like a snack. As the people watched in horror, down went his golden glory. It all vanished without a trace and was the end of his story. The Israelites thought to themselves, "Oh God, what have we done? Instead of using our short life for good, we've only been looking for fun. We've been just searching for worldly riches instead of asking for guidance." But Musa's God is forgiving, so change and ask for repentance. Prophet Musa reassured them, saying, "Of course Allah is kind. If you truly seek guidance, then that's what He'll help you find. He didn't create us in the world so we'll collect possessions. Allah has blessed us with this life for a very important mission." You saw how Haroon's pride destroyed him, and you've understood that without faith, worldly possessions won't do any good. So live and work for Allah's sake, and for Allah's sake spend, for heaven to be your reward and your ultimate end.